Hello everyone. It is Jackie with Pocket of Preschool, and tonight we are going to talk all about ideas and activities for a nursery rhyme theme. So at the top of this post, you're going to find all the links you could possibly need. You are going to find the link to my STEM and Center nursery rhyme packs, to my TPT store, to my blog, to my Amazon list. All the things are at the top of this post, including the newsletter link and the Facebook group. So all of it is at the top for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you around my classroom and I'm going to show you some things you can do for a nursery rhyme theme. Now remember, I've taught half day and I've taught full day. Now I would never ever probably get to all of these activities in a given year, but different years you need different activities depending on the needs and the skills your little learners need to work on. So that's why I'm telling you all the things. So real quick, before I get started, I want you to tell me in the comments what your favorite nursery rhyme is, and if you teach a nursery rhyme theme or if you just haven't done one before. So tell me all of that in the comments so we can get to know each other that way too. So a nursery rhyme theme, so in my nursery rhyme pack, I have 12 different nursery rhymes included. All your favorites are always included in there. And what I was thinking, if I did a nursery rhyme theme, I would probably pick either one or two to do a day, and then that day I would focus all of my activities around that rhyme. So instead of my normal Facebook Lives where I walk around and I show you all the literacy, all the math, I'm going to walk around and I am going to show you some activities to go with each rhyme. And then we'll do it that way tonight. And I have a science idea for you too. So to put in your science area that'll kind of tie all of them together. So again, tell me in the comments your favorite nursery rhyme and if you've done a nursery rhyme theme, but I'm going to flip it around and jump right in. Ready? Speaking of jumping, so Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick. It's like one of my favorite nursery rhymes. So for this activity in my center pack, they are making nursery rhyme pattern with candles with these Unifix cubes. So they can either extend it or make their own. Now, if you haven't, go to Walmart or to the dollar store and just grab a couple packs of candles, because you could do so many activities with these. You could have them make patterns with these candles. You could have them roll and count and make a Play-Doh cake and fill it up that way. So kind of a roll and fill game. You could also have them make letters with the candles. It's like there's an E. So that way they could make the different letters with the candles too. And then my favorite activity actually to do with Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick is it's actually a jumping assessment. So kiddos, you want to see if they can jump over things or if they're jumping with 1 or 2 feet. So we sing the rhyme as a class, and then I put up our little candle cone. Sometimes I put like a little fire on the top, which is really just some tissue paper, and then they have to jump over the candle. And I always put a line on the ground so that way they have both of their feet on there to start, and they have to use 2 feet, and they have to try to jump over the candle. So you can also do prepositions too with this unit. But it's a great assessment. They can do it one at a time as a transition, and you can real quick tell who kind of where everybody is at jumping wise. And sometimes that assessment will surprise you, I think anyways. So yes, that's a fun assessment to do with Jack Be Nimble. And in my nursery rhyme pack, every rhyme comes with a colored 1-page poster, a black and white 1-page poster, some retelling cards, and then a retelling worksheet. So that way you could use these for circle. Or if you wanted to each day, you could use these for small group too. And depending on your age, you could look at the rhyme and you could either have them find sight words. Could just have them color it if they're little. You could have them just notice letters. Like you could say, I want you to find letters that are in your name, or maybe the first letter in your name. And they could say, oh, I have a T in my name. or oh, I have a O in my name. Or maybe you're going to say, okay, I'm going to pick a magnet letter out and then let's see if we can find it in our rhyme. So you can do that too. So kind of up to you on what you want to do, but that way you can utilize these one-page posters a little bit more before. And obviously you wouldn't do this with every rhyme, but you could do it with a couple, which would be really, really fun for your kiddos to do. So yeah, so at my easel, I just have a pouch, and I would put a rhyme at the bottom, or maybe two, and they can say the rhyme, and then they can put the cards in order. Now, this morning, today, I put a little code in the bottom corner of all the rhymes, because someone in the group said she got them all mixed up. So there's a little code if you go to print them again in the bottom, so you know which rhyme it's the cover. So yeah, and that way your kiddos can kind of sort them out too if they would mix them up. But for the writing center, I have some vocabulary cards for each rhyme. I think there's one or two words for each rhyme. And again, there's uppercase and lowercase. And then I have some fun themed nursery rhyme paper. And you can also put either just the one-page rhyme. You could put those just in a little bucket. Yeah, so you could put those at there. And to go with Humpty Dumpty, since that's the rhyme I kind of have out, in the pack, I have these egg puzzles. So there's a beginning sound, or it's just a letter matching. And just to make it a little bit more fun, just put it in some pom-poms, and they can use the tweezers to pick it out. And they could match it to the to the letter. I love Humpty Dumpty because you can use plastic eggs. Like you guys, endless activities for these. You can literally just write uppercase on one side and lowercase on the other, and they can just match them. You can also, if you don't want to write on your eggs, you can hide letter manipulatives in there. Like these are just some letter beads from Lakeshore. They could open the egg, find it, and then they can write the letter on their paper. You can also do sorting. These are just some egg cartons I have from some Easter thing I bought one year. But you could always use the plastic egg cartons and just wash them out to make sure they're clean, or the styrofoam ones. You can write letters in there, so in the bottom of these with like letter stickers. You could also just, again, I have sorting by color for this one. You could also sort by size, because they're different sizes. So that would be like the small, here would be the medium, and then you could do the big and this one. So again, so many things you can do for Humpty Dumpty because you can use the magic plastic eggs. For Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, there is a name Craftivity in the pack for you to use with your kiddos. A fun sensory filler is, these are actually, it's like pasta, and they're little tiny stars. And I used liquid watercolor to dye some of them black, and then some of them I just used some gold paint, and I put them in a baggie and I shook it, and so they're kind of a little bit more golden. And then I just put in some moon and pom-poms in there for stars. I know a lot of us have star cookie cutters because they're popular around the holiday season. So a fun game you can do with your cookie cutters, rather than just use them for Play-Doh, it's kind of like a roll and fill game. So they roll the dice, and then they pick up that many, and they put it in. And then they roll the dice, and again, they can use tweezers or not. We'll just say it's 2, and then they can put it in. And then the game is over when they have made their cookie cutter full. So it's a really fun way to use cookie cutters, just in a different way. In your classroom, and just like a roll and fill game. Or if you have littler kiddos that need to work on that fine motor, they can just fill it up with the tweezers. Maybe they're practicing using tweezers. So they can just fill up those cookie cutters. And obviously you can paint with them too. So you could dip them in some white paint, and then they could make some art that way too. So that is a fun activity for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. For Pat a Cake, Baker's Man, we have these fun math boards for you. So there's either candle numbers or the 10-frame egg cards. And they just pick a card, and they make it on the mat. There's a single 10 frame or a double, depending on the age of your kiddos. And since Baker Petty Cake, they mark it with a B in the poem, I thought these Lakeshore letter stampers would be perfect. So they could kind of act it out. This is just some regular Play-Doh I made, and I put sprinkles in it. So they can kind of act out the story and build those fine motor muscles, but sneak in some literacy, and they can mark it with the letter. Now, if you don't have these, no worries. You can use any, if you have these letter beads, those work great, so you can stamp it with the letter that way. These work great for letter stampers. You can kind of see it in there. Or you can use magnet letters. You use whatever letter manipulative you have on hand. And these are just some little tins I got from like a home goods type store. But if you don't have these tins, just use some silicone cupcake molds, because I know Walmart has those, and the Dollar Tree has these sometimes too. So you can make your cakes with math, or you can stamp the letters for that rhyme too. For Hickory Dickory Dock, moving on, right? For Hickory Dickory Dock, this is the game in the pack, so they can either match letters on the clock and have the little mice run up with the letters, matching letters, or they can do sight words. Totally up to you. And I thought it would be fun to make clocks. Well, I don't know about you, but I think numbers are very tricky for littles to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up this blog post probably tomorrow, and then I'm going to make this the freebie. It's just little numbers, and you just print them on colored paper, and then they can glue them in order. Now, if you have 3-year-olds, are they going to glue them in order? Probably not. It's probably going to be a very abstract, gorgeous looking clock. If you have older kiddos, I'm also going to include a number line, so to put out the number line, and then they can put the numbers around their clock. And this is just a paper plate. And then to make it quick to dry, they can use crayons, or I love these paint sticks because they dry really fast. And then just put out some strips of paper, and they can cut to make their hands, and they can put it on whatever time they want. So again, I'll have this freebie out for you guys probably tomorrow. I'll work on it, I promise. And then if you want a writing tray, so this kind of looks like mouse food, doesn't it? It's really just oatmeal. So just this is one of those kid trays from, I think Target has them on sale sometimes, and I grab some. But this is just some oatmeal in a tray, and then I grab the mouse letters, and they can make their letter, and then shake, shake, shake to erase. And then they could pick another letter. And if you want it, if you need more room, you can always turn these sideways too. So they can make their letter. And I love having them use the pom-poms, one, because their hand doesn't get all gross, because some kiddos don't like their hands to be gross. And then it kind of keeps it contained a little bit more. But look at this. When they are grabbing that with this, when they are grabbing it with their pincer muscles, they're going to be strengthening those fingers even more. So yeah. So these little mouse cards are in the writing pack. So Little Miss Muffet. So here is the game that is in the pack. So they find their shape, and then they match it on the board. Super fun. Now, you can also, Little Miss Muffet eats her curds and whey. This kind of looks like some curds and whey. So they can grab their shape, and then they can make their shape in the curds and whey too. So you can use these cards for multiple ways. If you are having issues with it freezing, just go ahead and refresh. Thanks for that help, whoever put that suggestion down. And then, because we love a good spider art, and it's so fun, so you can do just some marble painting, and I have a whole bunch of these spiders from somewhere, so it's fun to glue them on to your marble painting once they're done. So basically you just take a cup. I always put tweezers in, that way you're sneaking in some fine motor, and that way they have to use their tweezers to get them in and out of the paint, and then they can shake the cup to get some more paint on there too. And then just put it in a cardboard box and shake, 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 and you have a gorgeous spider web for your classroom. All right, so let's keep going. All right, All right, so for Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill, I have these pail rhymes included in the pack, which are super fun. And then I have some fun other activities for you too using pails. So if you have these pails in your classroom, they're magnetic. So just take some magnet numbers and put them on there, and then they can count 2, 3, 4, and they can put the matching amount in the pail. If you don't have these pails, grab some plastic cups or paper cups and just write numbers on them or put number stickers on them, and then those can be your pails. And if you don't have these blue jewels, which are from the Dollar Tree, for the water, you can use blue pom-poms would be fun too. So, and then I have another pail activity. So this one's super simple. I just dumped some letters magnet letters in the pail. And then they have to use a magnet wand, and then they can just grab a letter, and then they can write it down, and then put it to the side. Grab a letter, write it, and put it back. So another fun little easy low prep activity. You could also do this on like a giant piece of butcher paper, and your whole class can do it kind of as an arrival activity, and just put a couple of these pails in the middle of the table. For art, so it was a whole bunch of little dots before I went live, but they all kind of went together. So these are just little cups of colored water, liquid watercolor, but you can use food dye as well. And then what they're going to do is they're just going to drop little amounts of the water on the paper towel to create some gorgeous art. But again, when they're using these droppers, it's great fine motor. And then these dry pretty quick, as long as obviously if they make puddles, they won't dry super quick. But they're gorgeous. You can hang them up or they can take them home. So another fun, sneaky, fine motor activity for the art center. For Hey Diddle Diddle, this is a fun one. So grab all the spoons, like grab all the different kind of spoons in your classroom and from your house. Or you can even have your kiddos bring them in from home. But always have backup, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a piece of tape either on the ground or on the table. So it's kind of a starting and stopping point. And they're going to line up the spoons from tallest to shortest or shortest to tallest, whatever you want to do. And then they can also measure them with the cubes. And you could measure them. You can have them write it down on a piece of paper or not. Just explore measurement. So it's just a fun way to compare, compare the height of different objects and explore non-standard measuring tools if they're measuring using these cubes. So that is for Hey Diddle Diddle. And then for 1, 2, buckle my shoe. So for that one, you can go on a stick hunt outside. Obviously, my sticks are all the same size, but if you go on a stick hunt outside, you can line up all your sticks, and you can put them from tallest to shortest and measure them with cubes. You can also make letters with your sticks. And then I have in the pack, I have these fun letter tracing cards, and they can either use pipe cleaners or they can just trace them with a dry erase marker, or you can use Play-Doh. And you can also, if you wanted to do an art activity with these, they can either roll these in paint, or they can use them as a paintbrush, or have them paint their paper with paint, and then they can do like scrapings in them with the sticks. So that's another really fun one for 1, 2, buckle my shoe. And I do have a science and a block center idea for you guys too. For the Itsy Bitsy spider, I have some fun ones. So here is another fun sensory table filler. I just took some beans and I colored them different shades of blue with some acrylic paint, and then I put some spiders in, and this is kind of a STEM challenge too at the sensory table. So what they're going to do is they're going to take these paper towel tubes, and they're gonna make water spouts with them. Or I don't know where my spoon went. My kids must have took it. But they can take their spoons and they can make the spiders go through them. They can make the beans go through them. Whatever they want to do with the beans and the spiders, whatever they want. So that's a really fun one. If you have water in there, this is so much fun. Go to Lowe's and grab these tubes. I don't know how big they are, just kind of eyeball it. This one's about the size of my thumb, big around. So, and I cut them different sizes. If you cut them too big, the other end will end up outside of the sensory table. So what they're gonna do, we're just gonna pretend this is water. And I just literally put the tubes in there. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna take their funnel. This is fun to do one-handed. And they're gonna put the funnel in the one end, and then these have been in a baggie, so they're kind of curled up. But the other end will go in the table, and they can make the water go through the tubes. This is fun to do outside, inside. I always did it inside. So again, just make sure you're cleaning things up and making sure there's no water puddles and be safe. And then, yeah, this is super, super fun. They love it. You can also cut them shorter. I have shorter pieces. I have longer pieces. Again, just don't make them too long because they won't notice where the other end of the water, the other end of their tube is at first. So start out with smaller tubes once they kind of get used to how the tubes work with the water, and then it'll be really, really fun. And it's a lot of teamwork too when they're using those tubes. So you can also grab, if you have Marble Works, these are great to put out for the Itsy Bitsy spider because it's basically like a giant water spout. So you can tell them they're building water spouts for their with the Marble Works. This is the game that is included in the unit. So what they do is they are taking these clothespin spiders and they're racing them up the water spout. So you can play it two ways. So you can play with the dice and they count that many and roll it up, and then the next person goes and they move that up, and then they play until both are at the top. Or if you want to make it more tricky, or a higher level, you can spin it. They can spin the spinner, and then they either have to go up one or down one. So that's another fun way to play. And then, you can also measure. So you can also line up different tubes, water spouts, you can call them, and line them up, and you can measure those too as well. Or, this is one I know everyone knows this activity probably from Pinterest. I forgot who made the original one, but you just take some dot stickers, and what they're going to do is they're just going to match it up, and they're going to match those dot stickers and put them on their water spout, and you just write it on there with a Sharpie. Super, super simple. You can use any dot markers you have. For the block center, here's my blocks. So I put up my stem. I can build nursery rhyme challenges. And what I'm going to do tonight, and I will do this tonight before I go to bed, I promise, I am going to make little character cards. So like I'll have little Miss Muffet, and all I did, you guys, I just taped these to the back of the Jenga blocks. Super, super simple. So I will do this tonight before I go to bed. And then what they can do is they can build the different things, and now they will have the characters for them. So if they're going to build a tuffet, then they can have little Miss Muffet sit on it when they're done. When they're done with the challenge. If they're going to make a water spout, they can have a spider for it. If they make a moon, I'm going to have a cow. That way they can have the little characters to go with their structures or whatever they make. And for this one, I think putting out just some fun everyday objects to build with would be perfect since it's kind of a wide variety of challenges. So I had these silver and gold cups left over from when I did a fairy tale theme. These would be fun to build with. You can either put out, if you have plastic tubes, you can put them out, or if not, just put out a whole bunch of paper towel rolls. And then these are some, like those serving cups from the cafeteria. These are fun, and these are really stable to build with because the mouth is really wide. So just ask your cafeteria if you can borrow them, or I'm sure you can grab them at the dollar store. So yeah, so that is a really fun STEM challenge. And I think the character cards will get them really excited about building all the different things. For the Science Center, I think Force in Motion would be a really fun thing to explore, because there's the water spout, the mouse goes up and down the clock, Jack and Jill fall down the hill, what else? So he jumps over the candlestick. So there's a lot of force and motion going on in these nursery rhymes. So this is my Force in Motion science pack. And if you haven't gotten any of my packs before, you get a whole bunch of teacher pages. You get all the photos of all the setups, and you get tons of activities with them and worksheets, and I have all of it. I keep them in these plastic tubs, and this is just one of the setups you can do. And the Force in Motion, because I think some of these words are kind of tricky, I put definitions at the bottom. That way you don't have to think on the spot with your kiddos, because frictions, it's kind of hard sometimes to think of a way to define such a complex term in a way a little guy can understand. So all I did was I put out a tray, and all they're doing is they're going to figure out if it rolls or if it doesn't roll. So they can test it out, and then they can put it on there if it rolls or if it doesn't roll. And does an animal roll? Does a Post-it? Does a sponge? Does just testing out all these different things to see if it rolls or if it doesn't roll. And my science packs always come with a and some science journal pages and a whole bunch of stuff. All right. So those are all of the ideas I have for a nursery rhyme theme. I hope you guys loved this nursery rhyme unit as much as I did. But you guys have an awesome night.